Hello, and thank you for watching Book Critique 6. My name is Dana Wells. The feature text that I chose for this week is The Man Who Walked Between the Towers by Mordecai Gerstein. It was a fictionalized biography and a 2004 Caldecott Medal. This is the story of a young French performer named Philippe Petit who walked between the Twin Towers on a wire. He was an aerialist who had previously walked between the steeples of Notre Dame and was not afraid of the sky. In fact, he felt free a quarter mile above the ground. People of the town saw him, and so did authorities. He was arrested, but then sentenced to public performance in the park for the children. The story is artistically brought to life as we remember the Twin Towers and the man who walked between them. I would first incorporate this into a social studies lesson at a third grade level. For my social studies lesson, after reading The Man Who Walked Between the Towers, the whole class will have a discussion about the Twin Towers. What do the students already know about the World Trade Center? The students will divide into small table groups and begin researching Philippe Petit and the World Trade Center. The students will compile their research into Prezi.com, which I will show you on the next slide. After the completion of their projects, the students will present their projects to their second and first grade partner groups as they explain the 9/11 events to the grades below them. So this project could be completed around September 11th, just as we go through a memory memorial of what happened. And here is the standard that it applied to, the theme of communities past, present, near, and far. So here's an example of a Prezi I created. Went ahead and pulled up the link. So on this Prezi, I had a slide about Philippe Petit, when he was born. I also just wrote about the Twin Towers in general. They were completed in 1973, and each tower was approximately 1,360 feet tall. Something I actually did not know is that the towers were first bombed on February 26th in 1993. And then, of course, the towers were destroyed on September 11th, 2001. And then here's an actual photograph of Philippe Petit. So to continue, my second lesson would be an English language arts lesson. After reading The Man Who Walked Between the Towers and beginning the social studies projects, the students will begin a more lighthearted writing lesson. The social studies lesson could be a little intense for some of the students as they do go through the memories of this, but this English lesson comes from a much lighter perspective. The students will discuss in table groups a crazy experience that they have had or assisted in, just like Philippe's friends had to help him cross the wire. So we're focusing more on him climbing to the top of the building and crossing the wire. The students will begin pre-writing their crazy experience using a graphic organizer provided in class, and then their completed crazy experience stories will be saved for their student portfolios and then presented to parents at the parent-teacher conferences, and I'm sure the parents will really enjoy hearing about those stories. So some of my other great reads was Rapunzel by Paul O. Zelinsky. It was a traditional literature fairy tale and a 1998 Caldecott Medal. It is a classic story of Rapunzel that many of us are familiar with. It is the story of a young couple who accidentally promise their only daughter to a sorceress, who locks her away and raises her as her own in a tower in the middle of the woods. But eventually, a young prince hears her beautiful singing, climbs the tower, proposes. She eventually becomes pregnant and is sent away to wilderness. But like all good fairy tales, he finds her and they live happily ever after. My second book is Flotsam. It is by David Weissner, and it is a wordless picture book. So this is a really fun book. It's told through beautiful illustrations of a camera that has been around for decades and decades and washed up upon the shores. And different children have discovered it through history and have captured different moments in time. And this would be a fun book to incorporate into an art classroom, as students just can draw different perspectives of the present and of the past. Lan Po Po, a Red Riding Hood story from China, was written and illustrated by Ed Young. It is a traditional literature and multicultural book, and is a 1990 Caldecott Medal winner. So it is a multicultural story and the Chinese version of Red Riding Hood tale. Lan Popo is the wolf that goes to visit the three little girls while their mother is away visiting their real Popo, their grandmother. The wolf tricks the girls into coming into the house, but then the girls trick the wolf into letting them lift him into a tree in a basket, and the girls outsmart the wolf in the end. I would incorporate this into an English language arts lesson as the students learn about fairy tales from different countries and ethnicities. The students will have to compare the differences between their stories. And last, I have Kitten's First Full Moon. It is by Kevin Henkes and is a modern animal fantasy and a 2005 Caldecott Medal winner. A small kitten sees the moon for the first time and mistakes it for a big bowl of milk. She tries to drink the milk and travels a great distance to get to the milk. She overcomes many obstacles, but nevertheless is not any closer to the bowl of milk in the sky. She eventually gives up her quest and returns home just to find a bowl of milk on her front porch waiting for her. Thank you for watching Book Critique 6, and I've enjoyed sharing all of my book critiques with you.